There's a man that tells a woman, he's not just waiting for marriage to have sex. He was talking about kissing. Not because of the kissing, but what the kissing leads to. And so he just did not want to put himself in a tempting situation. And in all honesty, I can't disagree with the parameters that somebody sets up for themselves. Like if you personally can't handle kissing a woman, therefore you have to set the parameter for yourself to say, I can't even kiss until I'm married. That is your business. My problem comes in when people take this to a little bit too much of an extreme, and now they project these type of parameters on every person as if they're supposed to live their life that exact way. I'm waiting for marriage as well, but I've literally never had sex. I don't even have that appetite for that right now because I've never experienced it. Like I can't have a taste for something I've never had. But I've also been in relationships, and in my relationships, yet we kiss. Like I'm not about to sit here and be like, I gotta put a ring on your finger to kiss you. Just an extent that things don't go. There's a place that we just do not visit. If your self-assessment makes you self-aware that you do not have the level of self-control to handle smooching, then okay, set that parameter for yourself. My problem comes in with believers is when they take parameters and they project it on people that are not first empowered by the Holy Spirit. Like a lot of how we're able to operate in right living is empowered by our relationship before it's a religion. But what causes a lot of people to defer from the faith is when you just try to force the religion without ever promoting the relationship that empowers you to be able to follow that right living lifestyle. Understand that we first need salvation before we even begin the process of transformation. As a believer, the common concern is to look like a Christian more than actually becoming like Christ, because nobody seems to be concerned with the changing of a heart condition. We only seem to be concerned with just doing all the actions that are associated with being a believer, without understanding that these actions are rooted in a heart condition. This type of transformation is progressive. We're all ruled by our flesh. And when we invited Jesus in, now allowing the Holy Spirit to live on the inside of us and change our nature, he opens us up to a very new option. So it's not like my old desires go away. I just have a different option to do something different. If I do what I used to do, I just don't have the same peace in doing it. Like all of a sudden, I'm no longer ignorant, so this isn't blissful. It seems like in today's time, all the sanctified saints seem to be a little too holy to also be human, because that Christian amnesia is crazy. Like you can reflect back on every time where if it had not been for the Lord on your side, and you will shout about it, but you forget the phase of life where you are completely on your BS when you're calling somebody else's BS without ever being able to understand. Maybe the reason it's so easy for you to recognize the dumb stuff that they do is because you used to do the same thing, and even deeper, you're not that far from it. Now everybody seems to be so greedy with God's greatest gift, which is grace, lack the capacity to even meet anybody down where they're at. It is just much easier to just tell everybody what they should not do rather than actually being transparent about how you came to that conclusion. Because if you can't meet anybody where they're at, what did Jesus do when he saved us? He left eternity and entered time and took on human flesh, which means if Jesus did it and he serves as our greatest example through the guide that he has given us known as the Bible, then at some point in time, if you refrain from being able to do the same thing, that's not a godly thing to do now, is it? Change happens with the heart condition. Just actually think about this for a second. Just level with me here. If change happens with the heart condition, then at a certain point in time, you got to realize that what you do is a result of conditioning. Like, could you imagine in the sport of track and field, if somebody got thrown out in a 400 to compete with no prior conditioning, they're not going to want to run track anymore either. But now we begin to wonder, well, all of a sudden you just project this large standard, this high standard for everybody to meet unrealistically, and then wonder why are they leaving church? Why don't they want to be around any Christians? Why have they defected from the faith? You projected an expectation on a person without any prior conditioning and then wondered why they were unable to effectively run that race.